Oh yeah, okay.
As long as you're recording, Nikhil.
Yeah. So before we start talking about the movie, so the episode has started. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm putting that out there. The episode has started.
Okay.
But like, let me tell you about the newfound disease that Jesse and I discovered yesterday.
Oh,
Do you know about the disease that's been ravaging millennial women between the ages of 27 and 32 called anxious pussy?
All right. You have 3 minutes to explain anxious
I don't
pussy.
need 3 minutes.
That is a graceful period
I
of
don't
time.
need 3 minutes. The moment that I give you what anxious pussy is, like you'll get it. Okay, so anxious pussy is when you like are planning on sleeping with someone, but you don't know what Hogwarts house they're from, so like you're really second guessing it.
It's why when you're trying to have a kid on purpose, it seems to be way more difficult.
Put
Because
yourself
when
in
you
their
don't
shoes,
know
right?
and you're not
no,
trying,
seriously, put
you're
yourself
not-
in
it's
their
not a
shoes.
thought on
Like,
your
would
mind.
you really want to get knocked out by a Hufflepuff? Like, come on. Don't fuck with me, Nikhil. I know you better.
All right. So did you guys like the movie?
Even when we are apart, I know how to hurt you. That was basically the message of this movie.
Yeah, no, it's good that it's good that you could get a shot in every now and then.
Yeah.
That you're not just being smothered by a pillow.
Yeah, it's that the movie was fine. So we watched Dog Soldiers.
Released in 2002, it's a British horror movie.
It was barely a horror movie.
That's kind of why I picked it, because like we don't do that. We don't do horror movies, and I wanted to pick something that wasn't super overt. And then like it could be a genre we revisit more seriously later. I just didn't want it to be like a huge dip in like change in tone.
Yeah, it was still fun because of just like how low budget the movie was, and like seeing the practical effect of like when you first see like the outline of the werewolf in like the first like the first 5 minutes of the movie, you're like, oh man, they went to a high school and said, yo, can we borrow your mascot head real quick?
Yeah. Or like how
That's so accurate.
When it reaches through the top of the car, sometimes it's a guy wearing an entire top arm, and sometimes it's a normal arm painted.
Yeah, I'm just like, damn, they found like the hairiest Turkish man in the country of England and asked him to play a wolf in this movie.
Yeah, it was 100. Like, I don't. You guys know this, but I don't watch horror movies and stuff. I've always been like way too easily scared of that kind of shit. So like watching this was one of those things in the very beginning. It was like, okay, yeah, no, I get it. But the second that you so much as see the silhouette, like the whole time that you don't know what the monster is and you haven't seen it yet, it's like,
it's
okay,
gonna be kind of freaky.
This is gonna be a little bit scary, and then you just see the fucking silhouette. It reminds you of that gif of the fucking person in the dog suit walking around like this, like with the just paws straight out, and they always like put it in space for whatever reason in the gifs.
No, it's like
it completely takes you out of it for the rest of the movie.
I think the both of you know fighting games well enough, but like when like the werewolves were attacking. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. Well, but like when we finally see them fighting, their hands, just like you were saying, Jesse, moving like this, they're just fucking E Honda. Like it's it's just wolfed up fucking E Honda, like slapping a car for 5 minutes. It was
and then
insane.
they get into the house and they come back outside, and somehow that slapping has torn up the entire engine.
The werewolves were so fucking built. Like, what was going on? Why were they so ripped?
And, like, what's it called? This is skipping way ahead, but, like, when they got into the bedroom, it was like, yo, how the fuck tall are these things?
Yeah.
Because that seemed ridiculous.
Okay, so we'll kind of, like, go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So the movie opens up, and it's kind of like this guy and girl... They're on like a hiking trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like they
he was
decide
such
to
a good writer.
they decide to like set up camp in the middle of the woods for this hiking trip, and then the girlfriend, in like the greatest active so the movie can happen foreshadowing, gifts him a silver knife.
It's a letter opener, I think.
Was it a letter opener?
I think it's a letter.
That's
opener.
what I got from it.
Okay.
No, to help him with his job as a writer.
He didn't look like a writer. He definitely looked like he worked down at the shore, you know? Like he's a seaman.
I'm going to be honest, like when it went from that guy in the tent to like the main character soldier, I thought it was the same guy and I was really confused.
Okay. I'm
glad
glad
it was,
that
like,
you
doing
brought
a
this
weird
up
time
because the same thing happened to me with like the guy that was telling him to shoot a dog and like the sergeant. I'm like, that's the same person for real, for real.
Wait, was it not actually? Dude,
that's what I'm saying.
That's fucked.
Dude, that like this movie.
It had to be the same guy.
Here's the thing, right? It's like when I saw the movie the first time, I thought it was the same guy. But what I realized is like, if he survived a werewolf attack, how come he still doesn't believe in werewolves? If he saw like an entire one and it like ripped his girlfriend in half and stuff.
Yeah. Because then like by the time the letter opener shows up at the end, it's like, oh, he didn't kill it in the tent and then run off. That was just there for plot convenience.
It was literally there so that the movie could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they let you know from the get-go.
But it was also like, okay, so after that opening scene...
It was more like, right, they decided everything about the movie, and then right at the end, right, where it's like, hey, does anyone want to add anything to the script before, like, we finalize it and begin filming?
Yeah.
And
it's
one of
the
writers
oregano.
like,
it's like the oregano of the movie, right? Like, you never put oregano in the beginning of the cooking process.
Yeah, you do it at the end. So one writer, like, we should do something with silver that happens in werewolf movies. And it's like, oh, okay. Change the thing at the end that he kills it with to something silver.
Yeah,
and we'll add a little.
And then they're like, "Well, we don't want it to be a Deus Ex Machina, and that means it comes out of nowhere. So what if we just put it in the beginning and never address it again?"
Yeah, so
that way it's not out of nowhere. They just happen to have the thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The movie like did the craziest jump cut of all time after that though. So it's like this dude covered in blood just saw his girlfriend get ripped in half by a werewolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just jumps to this dude running in the forest at night, with like a dog barking after him, and then like you see the silhouettes of the dudes with guns, and you have no idea what's going on.
I think that's why I thought it was the same guy. Because, like, it's just like the soldiers kind of came out of nowhere.
The way that they shot conversation scenes in this movie pissed me off so much. Because they broke, like, the one rule that you shouldn't break without reason, which is, like, the 180 degree
180 degree.
Right? They just didn't care. They were like, nah, we're just moving this camera because, like, fuck it, why not? So whenever, like, even in that beginning, in that second scene, when Cooper was talking to who I assume was Special Ops Ryan, right? That was who that was. When they were shooting that, like, conversation scene, it, like, just the camera changes just freaked me the fuck out.
Oh, yeah, because they, like... Yeah. I remember.
They never shot them
to like shoot the dog. And
they're
stuff.
never shooting. Like they don't shoot the conversation from the same side of the camera. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, oh, whoa, I am super out of focus. Whatever. Yeah, that's fine. But
I have glaucoma, but like only here.
Yeah. But the issue wasn't that. The cameras were switching too quickly. The problem was that like they would switch the side of his face that they were putting the camera on. So there would be times when you would be looking at it from one side of his face, it cuts to the other guy talking, and then it cuts back to the other side of his face, and I'm like, why are you making this choice?
Yeah. Because that's did you want to explain the 180-degree rule?
Sure. Essentially the 180-degree rule is that for every conversation, or like for any dialogue scene that is exchanging between two people, you are drawing a straight line between the two of them. And then you put the camera on one side. You put the camera on one side of that line, and then you can move it and angle it, but you cannot move it past that line. It's essentially like a line of scrimmage, like in football, but with
and the
two
point
people.
The point is to go past it, right?
I mean, I can't argue with them on that. That is kind of, if you're gonna make that analogy, that is kind of the thing.
And that is what they did. That is 100%
Dude,
what
they got so many.
They got their footballs
so many
confused.
first downs.
But yeah, that was just something that freaked, like it just bothered me throughout the entire movie. Like they kept doing it too. It wasn't just like that one scene to show like, oh, it's just an adrenaline rush. It's like, no, this was just their choice to do it.
Well, it's a good thing there's nothing else bad about the cinematography, right, Eric?
No, like honestly, I did like how the movie looked. Like that really was the only point that like annoyed me. Because you know how much I love campy bullshit, like bad practical effects and like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mentioned it, I think they did like the same thing when they were like defending the house, and there's like the one guy posted up like underneath the door.
Yeah.
There was always like one shot from him over here at this angle, and then like on the other side of the line, it was like from down the hallway, from like a top-down angle. So it was like a completely opposite.
So with that one,
thing.
It makes sense just because of how small the budget was from what I can assume, and like just the space that they were working with. Like it is essentially a bottle episode after they get to the cabin, right? Where everything is contained in that. And that was one thing that I really liked about the movie, where it kind of just felt like The Thing.
Like it takes place in a really localized area.
Yeah, and it's just like the entire movie happens in this one single place.
Yeah,
it's like
so there's like, okay, guys, there's going to be 3 locations we cover this movie. One is the woods.
And like the woods is actually just like the forest preserve behind his house.
Yeah, and then we have the house.
It wasn't even a forest preserve, dude.
And
they were
then
just
we
waiting
have,
for like the Douglas firs to go on sale for Christmas and running through the parking lot that they were all standing up in. That's what that shit was.
And then there is the barn where the Land Rover is parked that you only see twice. Once when they get the car, and once when it explodes.
Yeah, because they knew they only had two. They had 2 takes. You know, like they didn't have more chances. But
yeah,
so
the car that's destroyed that they take the first time, that's from the first take.
So like what I kind of thought this movie was doing was that it was gonna follow a bunch of like really hardcore World War II reenactment people, because I'm just like, why do you need to do this special training like right now? I don't get it. Like, what is the point here?
Yeah, no, it's like, so you find out they were bait later.
Yeah. Like at the end of the movie, you do find out that they're bait, but I'm just like, but what military unit are you with? Like none of it was ever specified.
The army, Eric.
I mean, yeah, probably. I don't know if
Eric, say
they
it
have
with
their
me.
own like
Say
the Marines.
So that the movie can happen.
Shout outs to my boy Spoon. He was the one that got bitched out the most throughout the entire movie.
And then he bare knuckle botched a werewolf, and he was gonna win.
Dude,
like that is
crazy.
The best part. That's the best part of his entire character. That he was going to beat the werewolf handily, before the second one
like,
showed up.
I feel like that
he
was
calls
like
it a
the
pussy
grandma
right
wolf.
before he dies.
You know what I mean? I feel like that was the grandma wolf of the pack. Like, he fought an old lady and almost won. Like, we can't give him that many fucking... We can't give him those props. Come on.
Dude, don't you mean the most powerful one? The grandma wolf is the most powerful one.
No. What?
No, you remember Red Riding Hood? That's the best one.
Dude, if we were sitting in person, I'd walk away. Like, I'd leave the house. Okay. But if I leave the house right now, I don't know where I'd go.
He's got the biggest eyes, the biggest ears, and the biggest teeth. That's the best one. It's canon.
Jesus.
I also like how, like, sort of like to subvert a trope, like the first time they all attack, it's essentially a wave. Mm-hmm. They just don't know what the ammo situation is and all that stuff. So, like, after the first one, you're like, oh shit, they got through like a whole like attack from them and no one died. And then the one dude just like looks at the girl and he's like, huh, dogs. And then he just gets yoinked out the window. It's like, okay, there it is. Like, whoever says the one-liner just gets got. I appreciate that.
Oh, and the way they can't let him have shit for that scene, that was good.
What's that?
Because right before he says, like, wolves more like pussies, right? That's the line. The blinds drop through the window, and then the werewolf jumps through the blinds to grab him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Yeah, it's like about time someone who says the one-liner like gets what's coming to them.
I feel like everybody got what was coming to them except for Cooper. Like, Cooper kind of was just fine.
Dude, the first guy that died, though, I forget his name, but
Bruce.
Like he got so... Yeah, Bruce. God.
Dude, we gotta pour one out for the homie Bruce. Yeah.
He shit his pants so hard he just fucking impaled himself.
Yeah, he's watching the match in heaven.
Dude, before they fire the like flare, right after like they landed and they just like started hiking through like this obviously like Menards parking lot that's just covered in trees. When they were just sitting around talking, I swear to God they weren't speaking English.
Oh, dude, I turned on subtitles.
I could not understand a single thing that they were saying. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah, man.
They really are built
British
different.
Accent
They're built different over
much.
there. Like, the moment that dude said footy, I had to pause the movie. I'm like, if he keeps going like this, I'm fucking done. I'm done. And guess what? It just kept going. He
like,
just kept talking about fucking footy.
Did you think that the girl was like the relatable character because she had to ask about one of the terms they used at one point?
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean?
Yeah. Especially like because she's like, yo, what
bones?
the fuck does bone mean? And then he just goes bullocks. I'm like, that doesn't help.
Dude, like, and he was the same guy who, like, when the training exercise started, that was your character, Eric. That was your guy. Like, fucking Alfred from Gotham was just like, hey, get off the fucking helicopter or I'm gonna fucking, like, cut your balls off. He's like, no. I want to stay. I want to do this. I want to go watch footy. And the whole rest of the movie is like, this is just bone. This is bone, man. This is bone. Where's my soccer? This is bone.
Yeah. He was the most relatable character because like that did look like bullshit. I'm like, guys, I signed up to do like like I was trying to LARP World War II and like you got me stuck in here with like high school mascots trying to eat my guts, which are just like Polish sausages linked together. Like they literally
with like straight up just red paint on it. They just like candy red.
They went down to the deli, bought like as many sausage links as their budget could afford, and then poured marinara sauce over it, and then like threw it on a person, and then just went, "All right, just scream really loud for the next 20 minutes."
Yeah, it's like the marinara is making this kind of sweet. Could I get like a dry red, please?
And then like when they find the camp with the like special ops guy in it, when all the like there weren't even bodies, it was just like other chunks, there was other sausages and paint. There's like the one that also had like the layer of like gack on it because the dude like lifted up his shoe and it just fucking spread with it.
Yeah. I'm like, that's not what blood
What
does.
happened to him? What's this? I was like, gee, I wonder, my guy. What could it possibly be?
And I just love how much of a dick Ryan, like the special ops guy, Ryan was. He was such a raging cunt throughout the entire movie. And I'm like, yeah, you're totally not a werewolf. Like, totally not a werewolf.
Every time anyone said anything about what was going on, he basically was like, curious.
Yeah, the entire time.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the entire time he was just like, no, it's not me. No, I swear to God, it's not me.
He was just evil villain monologuing the entire movie. He was constantly,
God! You know who he was?
It wasn't a spinning chair,
Jesse.
But every interaction he had was like, yes, I bet you're wondering about that.
The man literally was going, "Oh, a man's got a prattle." The entire fucking movie.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, he totally was.
The entire fucking movie. The entire fucking movie. He was just like, "Oh, a man's got a prattle."
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just predating. Man's got a predat.
Fuck me. He's so dope.
Dude, that's so accurate.
He's so good.
Oh my God.
But so I don't really remember how they ended up getting in contact with Megan.
Like she picked them up on the road.
But like they were running after like picking up this special agent Ryan guy who was like bleeding out. But then they somehow
they made it to the road, and she happened to be there.
Yeah,
that was it.
Like, I think it was Spoons. Because Cooper was carrying Sarge.
Yeah, so one of them stumbled out onto the road, and she almost ran him over. But he got her to stop.
Yeah, he straight up jumped out and like kicked his leg out.
I'm pretty sure that was Spoon. Spoon like ate shit, tumbled down, and then almost got ran over by like by the girl who was like so uncomfortable throughout the entire movie. Like she definitely just didn't want to be there.
Yeah. And like I appreciated the whole like as soon as everyone gets in the car, like it starts, but there's like, oh no, the tire's stuck because now we've got a werewolf on top and it's really in there.
Yeah,
it's really in the mud. You're going to have to give it a good old...
It's like the hand comes down the roof of this car, and like the first cut of the scene, you're like, oh yeah, they try to like use like an actual prosthetic arm, put makeup on it, and like made it look relatively realistic. And then the next time, I guess they realized, oh, we need coverage from the other side of the car. So someone go get like Uyghur in here with his hairy arms and we'll just paint it slightly green and we'll just we'll just let him go to town on it. It's fine.
And like it's not going to do anything when it's the prosthetic. It's just going to be like claws just kind of like shaking there a little bit. Like someone's definitely just like on top of the car.
It's
with like just the fake arm just shaking it fucking up and down.
I fully believe that the guy that was doing the arm movements had it attached to a plunger because that makes it a little bit more like palatable for me.
And he was just like twisting it just a little bit, but never more than 180 degrees.
Yeah. That's what he thinks the rule is.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, they got their prop director to be like, yeah, this is the 180 degree rule. You just shift it, you know. Don't worry. I know what I'm talking about. I went to DeVry for filmmaking.
Oh, no.
What was that dude's name? Sarge. Like what's the actual actor's name? Because he was he's been in
other stuff. Hold on.
Yeah, he was like fake, like the father or whatever in Equilibrium.
Too. Yeah. His name is Sean Pertwee.
Okay. Yeah, because I know him from, I think I said in Equilibrium or whatever, but I just know him as Alfred in Gotham. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, you know, he can like be a actual military guy and whatever too. All right. Yeah, no, he makes a good angry British guy.
I think that every British guy can be a good angry British guy, except
if they believe in themselves.
Except for what was the guy that played Spider-Man? Why am I blanking on his name?
Tom Holland.
No, not that one. The one before.
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, Andrew Garfield.
He's British?
Yeah.
I've never heard him speak while he wasn't Spider-Man.
Yeah. He's British. He's either British or like fake New Zealander. So I don't.
Is he in? Because I know he's what's that war movie that he's in? Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
Is that him or?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. Is he playing an American in that one, or is he a British?
He's playing an American.
Okay.
He's playing a Seventh-day Adventist good boy, that like was a pacifist that just wanted to be a field medic from like Nebraska or some shit.
Right.
Yeah. Back to this movie. So I guess like they get picked up by this girl, and then they go and drive to like this girl's friend's house, like just in the woods.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, right, like if you have watched any amount of horror movies at all, like you kind of know where the movie is going, where you're like, okay, she's a part of the plan.
Oh.
Yeah,
she's a villain at the end of it, right? But they go to this like super dilapidated house where she's like, yeah, my friends live here, and then they go in, the entire house is like abandoned, and
but the stove is on, the food is warm, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's a real Goldilocks situation.
Right. I thought they were gonna play on that more, where someone would eat some of the food and say it was too hot, but some of the other food would then be too cold immediately afterwards. But the third thing they tried, that was really good.
Yeah, that was the one that was like just right.
Yeah, and they would like very blatantly use the phrase "just right."
Oh man,
that would have been really funny
because they brought it up, and Sarge has to like go in the bed and everything, and you're like, are they gonna take it to the next? Are they really gonna like commit to it? And they just don't. It's like, okay, but now since they didn't, I kind of wish they did. Like just a little, or like if they did it tasteful, that would have been nice.
Like you walk into the room, there are 3 beds that clearly have 3 different kinds of mattresses, and you're like, oh
yeah,
dude, for real, where were the mattresses? There was one. So like the entire thing, right, is like, okay, so her friends live here. I think she specified that it was multiple people, and then it
was supposed to be a family.
Yeah, and then you look at like the pictures that are kind of just like strewn about the house. And there's definitely more than just a couple in this house. But there's one bedroom with one bed.
True. Actually, at the end, like when they go from being in the closet into like another bedroom, there's another bed.
There's another bedroom
they hide in the wardrobe.
They don't bother going to. Like because when he breaks through the wall, right? Because the werewolf was breaking into the bathroom. They break through the wall and go into a child's room that was never visited.
Yeah. It's like, this is a random new piece of the set that we haven't seen before. You've just been keeping this just on you?
Dude,
in your back pocket?
It's like last day of filming, they finally find another like investor. And they're just like, well, we got to spend all this money because we can't use it for the next project.
Right. And call me crazy, but I don't think this one's getting a sequel.
I was going to.
It was. I legitimately think that if this movie had more funding to begin with, it would have been a lot better of a movie. Like in a completely unironic, like I'm not just trying to be a sarcastic piece of shit. Like I think that this movie with maybe like $200,000 more in budget would have been a very, very good like B horror movie. In like a completely non-campy way either.
Just updating the costumes and making sure the cinematographer knew the 180-degree rule.
Yeah, it's like making sure that
no, it's okay. Only
towards?
one person needs to know it, and that time it was the prop designer. It's fine.
No, they needed $200,000 more and to hire like a cinematographer that didn't go to like the film school of the Hard Knocks. Like that's literally what fucking needed to happen.
Yeah.
Like that
they,
dude.
They needed another $200,000 at 180 less degrees.
Yeah. Maybe 360, considering how many times they tried to do the Michael Bay full circle around bullshit. That shit. Oh my god.
When did they try doing that?
Literally in every conversation scene. Like you got full coverage of everybody's
okay.
face.
No, they didn't like freeze frame
run
around bullshit.
But you essentially got the entire face of like the person. Everything was 360. It was gross. I was very upset about it.
Yeah.
I don't really know where to go from here. Nikhil,
well, I mean, so we're on the so we the last time we actually discussed like the plot linearly, we got to the part where they got to the cabin, right? They found the body and the ammunition. They found a broken radio with a transmitter inside of it. Which was like foreshadowing of like, oh, something's going on here. And so that's how you resolve the problem of like, okay, they have live rounds now, and they get to this.
I was waiting for that to be the thing, because when it was like all the like yellow safety things,
they were
on,
just
like,
firing
guns with blanks. I was like, oh yeah, this is not
the
going to
guy
go well.
The guy
for these
shoots
dudes.
the cow that falls out of the sky. And the someone has to be like, what do you think you're doing?
That was Spoons. That was Bruce. Sorry. Bruce was the one that like
Bruce
shit himself and like started shooting.
Yeah, and
he
was very candid about like, it's like, dude, are you okay? I think I shit myself.
Look, so there are two people that are like that are relatable in this movie, right? The fucking Spoons and Bruce. Because Bruce is brutally honest about like how terrified he is as a human being in the situation where he's like, yeah, I shit myself.
Yeah, like,
if we don't leave right now,
and
I'm gonna soil my knickers
to
again.
Stay back.
You soil your what, dude? You can't say that.
Fuck off.
Dude, you can't say that with a hard R.
Yeah, like,
dude, both
and
of you really
of all
both
people
of you are
in
gonna
the
be talking like
squad.
that.
But for real, so Bruce was just like, no, I don't want to be like, I don't want to take part in any of this. This is stupid. This is lame. I want to go home and watch like my bullshit.
We should call
sports.
this in.
Yeah.
We should call the guy in charge of the mission and just be like, hey, there's a cow that died.
It's
and
raining cows out here. Like, we have to chill. We can't keep going.
Yeah. And then he, of all people, volunteers to like stay at the back of the squad to fucking shoot
because
at whatever's
he's a fucking
following
honorable human being. And then the other guy is Spoons, who was literally
out of everyone
just you,
there.
Jesse. Spoons is just you because he's the dude that's getting yelled at for constantly doing dumb shit.
Yeah. Except at the end where he's cool.
It's me because
no.
Then he dies, and then he's you again.
No.
No, because
it's because it's like, oh, we need something loud and annoying that's a distraction.
Dude,
what?
Dude, we would absolutely look at you in unison.
Oh, I know.
If we're all trapped in a house and we're about to get gotten by a bunch of fucking werewolves, it'd be like, listen, Jesse, this is not a volunteer situation. We're fucking picking you up, throwing you down that window like DJ Jazzy Jeff. And, like, you better hope your legs are working. Because if they're not, you're getting 8, bro.
Yeah, dude, they're going to show up and they're going to eat your ass.
Literally eat your ass.
God, bringing that one back. Holy shit.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Yep.
It's been a couple of weeks.
It's
Good job.
been like a month.
Gotta keep it fresh.
Or 2 at this point.
Oh, that was good. Oh, my God. But yeah, so
and then he's calling out to him like he's at a game of like a soccer game or whatever, just calling out like anyone to fight him.
Oh yeah, just like saying send it for England. Shit like that.
Yeah,
dude, you know for sure that
shit
every
was
single
crazy.
like all of those dudes are just actually Manchester United fans.
Oh yeah, dude.
They're all Manchester United fans, and they're just ready to just start beating the shit out of some Chelsea fuckers.
I think I really distinctly heard a "come on" then.
Yeah, no, like I can imagine, right? Like in this situation, they're essentially just a group of Manchester United fans taking their shirts off, getting ready to fight the Chelsea fans who are the werewolves.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't start a football fight without taking your shirt off. Those are the rules. I don't make them. I just follow
them. Yeah.
So I don't know. They get to the point where, like, the werewolves start attacking the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
In, like, just the most comical fashion where, like, I'm pretty sure the person that was underneath that, like, wolf head, just, they couldn't move their head physically to, like, look at the cabin without being just, like, placed there to begin with. Like, if they're walking, they can't look anywhere else because the head won't move with their head.
Yeah.
And so when they're stalking the cabin and they just look so ridiculous walking, like, all of them had the whole Ricky Bobby, what do I do with my hands situation going on as they're scoping out like the dilapidated house.
Mm-hmm.
And then was it Cooper that was outdoors? Like, they went out and then they, like, lit up a flare or some shit
to, like, check out the condition of the car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Cooper?
Yeah, it was Cooper and someone else who was just kind of there as, like, backup. And Cooper just, like, lit the flare, and there's one just hanging out on the other side of the car. It's like, hold on, wait, I saw this in this dinosaur movie once. Don't move. For, like, 5 seconds.
What if that was, like, the situation where it works, right?
Yeah. And then he's also, like, he was just like, don't make direct eye contact with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that, didn't he?
I'm like, what the fuck? So they blow up poor Megan's car, right?
Yeah.
And, like, this werewolf tanks it. I'm pretty sure no werewolves died throughout this entire movie.
Well, at the very end, they all died. Like, they kill them all.
Yeah.
But that's the part that, like, doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, why did they die there and not, like, during any of the 3 other explosions that occurred throughout this movie?
Because you
the
can't
one in the
dodge
barn,
a
they
gas
weren't
main
actually
rupture.
even there for.
When you're in a house and there's a gas leak and someone turns on the stove, you can't really, like, avoid that. There's no plot armor strong enough.
Bet. Jesse's family avoided it.
Dude, okay. Oh my god.
Fucking proved you wrong. What's up? God.
All right, I'll tell the story. My this was years ago, but really quick. My mom came home from work one day and she's like, "Guys, does it smell like gas?" And she was getting home at like 8:00 or something, and you're like, "No, it smells fine." She's like, "No, because it's not good if it smells like gas." Because here's the thing: if someone walked up to the stove and she walks up to the stove and does this and turns the lighter to the fucking
to, like, light on the
stove
stove
on,
Yeah.
she lets it click a couple times. If someone does this and there's gas, that could be really bad. The house could blow up. It's like, yeah, you sure, Mom? Were you willing to bet that hard?
That's
Your mom just said send it for England.
Yeah. Dude, that's the part of the Looney Tunes episode where, like, your mom says, if someone does this, and then there's a loud explosion, and all of you are ghosts, and you just, like, go on.
That's 100% the moment where, like, Ghost Nikhil and I would also just be floating by you. Because for some reason we get, like, caught in the crossfire, right? And then we both just simultaneously go, "Oh, Nina."
The problem with that trick is I can only do it once.
But those werewolves were fucking badass, bro. Like, they were tanking just point blank shotgun blasts to the chest.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
And then, like, what fucking boggled my mind was the one time, like, I think this was when the one guy was like, huh, dogs, more like pussies. He was the one with the shotgun at first, and like at one point he gets too close to the window and stops shooting. The werewolf like takes it from him. He ducks and covers. The werewolf shoots once at nothing, and then just throws the gun back into the house.
Dude, that was the werewolf's alpha way of saying, I don't need the assistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's playing COD on hard mode. He's not waiting for no fucking air raid.
Oh, he's just letting him know.
I bet if the camera angle was different, it would just be like him making fun of the guy. Like, oh, look at me.
Look at me. Little ass pussy.
Yeah, like he's making like a dumb face when he's trying like, yeah, that's you. That's what you look like.
The fucking werewolf's looking inside of the house going, I didn't know that anxious pussy was a gender-neutral disease.
No, it's because, oh God. It's because they're Hufflepuffs.
Fuck off.
Is there any particular reason you're licking me?
Because there's no one else there, Nikhil. God damn it. Now we're just distracted by the cat. The cat was the thing.
You can't talk about him. You already have him on camera.
The cat's the most detrimental, like, addition to this podcast because he's too fucking cute.
What did you think of Dog Soldiers? I know what he didn't.
Was he awake the whole time?
No, he really hates dogs. He didn't like the movie.
Did he stay in the room?
No, he stayed. He hung out, but he was just like, dude, I hate this.
So the thing is, like, the concept of the movie was really dope.
Yeah.
Like, I really did like the concept of the movie. My only problem was just, like, how horrendous the writing was.
Yeah. I like the stuff. There was a bunch of stuff in there that they added just so it was like, it would sound cool if he said this.
Yeah, it's like they all wanted every single person there to sound like 1980s Steven Seagal, without realizing that like Steven Seagal was never cool.
When they drop down into the into the kitchen from the upper floor, when it's like, where's Spoon? Instead of saying like he's dead, this is what's left of him or something like that, they say there is no Spoon, and it's like, dude, what the hell?
It's a Matrix reference, bro.
No, that's like a, you're working at a Panera Bread. It's like close to closing. You don't really want to like give out more silverware because some bitch came in ordering a bread bowl at like 8:35. And so you just go, yeah, there's no spoon. Like, go eat it with your hands, you fucking pig.
And I feel like what's his face? Like we said earlier, dude was just like the monologuing villain the whole time, and everyone was so over it so fast. That was it almost felt like a fourth wall break. He's like, curious, isn't it? Will you shut up, bro? Like, that's what it was.
They never did anything.
He does it once or twice.
Every person that, like, every protagonist or, like, good guy in this movie had such a mean case of, like, hold me back, I swear to God, hold me back. And then, like, would look at the special ops guy and go, you're so lucky my friends were here. Like, that's literally every single one of them. It sucked. You were getting blue balls.
And the girl.
Yeah.
And the girl, because she was like, are we going to torture him? I would torture him. Fuck this guy. Let's torture him.
They had super glue. They could have just super glued his fingers to, like, the fucking chair if they really didn't want to be brutal about it.
Could you imagine if that's how they took out one of the werewolves? Like, it walks onto some super glue and gets
some
stuck
fucking
or something?
Scooby-Doo shit? That would have been incredible. Oh, my God. Missed opportunity. Honestly. Okay, yeah, now that I brought up the super glue thing, the stupidest, like, I'm pretty sure this is, like, why so many young men die because they don't want to go to the hospital levels of shit. When he's just like, hey, give the sergeant painkillers and whiskey and hand me that bottle of fucking super glue.
Yeah. I liked
Yeah, that shit
I like
was
the
crazy.
semi-realistic portrayal of him being drunk. Like he drinks the bottle of whiskey. He's like, dude, I love you, bro.
Yeah, like
You're my
please
best.
marry my sister.
I don't have a sister, but if I
She
did,
doesn't exist, but you can marry.
You can marry her,
Dude, and like the entire range of emotion of like drunk emotions going from like I love you man to raging out and be like knock me the fuck out.
Hit me, motherfucker! Hit me!
I said,
what are you, a pussy?
I love that. I love that scene where he's like, dude, come on, I don't want to be conscious of this. Knock me out. Then he hits him, and then he gets him immediately. Do it again, you little bitch. And then he hits him, and he drops him.
So funny. That was
good.
That was so funny because like he stayed down for just long enough where you're like, oh damn, he really did get knocked out, and then just
it's just a pause,
and then just
pause.
brings up like a
sec.
fucking zombie, just like no, knock me the fuck out, stop being a little bitch.
Yeah.
And then when the werewolves break into the room after he's been knocked out or whatever, like the one's there, and like when they're still downstairs, the one starts like looming over the bed, like, oh, I'm gonna get you. And then you hear them coming from upstairs, like, Sarge! And he's still just there, like, oh.
No, dude, that's like, think about it from the werewolf's point of view, right? Just like, you gotta stand there, right, loom over it, give him one of these, and then in your head, you're like, dude, when he wakes up, he's gonna be
so scared. He's gonna be so freaked. Dude.
I can't do it when he's sleeping.
Like his
That's
friend is coming up, is like, right? And then I bet they looked at each other, and he gave him the look like,
yeah,
this
no,
is gonna be good.
he 100% was like doing it for the content. Where he's looming over the bed, and then he's like, no, watch what I'm gonna do.
Dude,
he's totally gonna shit himself.
Speaking of doing it for the content, like, there's no explanation about, like, bright light fucking with him, but the chick just starts taking pictures, like, bam, bitch, got you on camera. Bam, bam, dude, another one.
She was
like, oh no, my eyes.
No, she straight up was just like doing like Karen Fu of like, I'm gonna take pictures of you and I'm gonna cancel you. Yeah. Like the entire time I'm like, you can't fucking cancel a supernatural being, you dumbass.
Every time she did it, she was fucking JoJo posing, bro.
Maybe she timed it with them looking at suspect shit on like Instagram.
Oh yeah, like caught snooping.
Yeah.
She was.
Oh, they're wolves. They snooping. All right.
That was like, oh man, the pictures were so funny. I completely forgot about
Dude,
that.
in the fucking post-credit, or like during the credits, that was hilarious. Like, it hit credits. It was credits for like 5 seconds or whatever. I was like, okay, I kind of wanted to know the guy's name, but like, I can just look it up, whatever. I'm about to click off, and then I hear the camera go off, and the photos just start showing up. I was like, no fucking shot. Did they actually do this? This is so stupid.
It was a real camera.
And then the last picture is like something out of a sitcom where it's like, werewolves ate my platoon. Big front page, like London 0, or
England
London
5.
4, Germany 1.
England 5, Germany 1. And I'm like, that's so fucking good.
That was crazy.
But like
the homie got the respect in the end.
Yeah, the homie got what he wanted all along. The thing is like the movie was self-aware. I think that's part of the reason why I did enjoy it quite a bit. Was just like there was no pretense behind it. They were like, listen, man, if we try to make this a serious horror movie where like we play with the tension too much and we're not just playing with jump scares, it's going to be lame. It's going to be super, super lame, and, like, everybody's going to make fun of us. So let's just really steer into this and, like, make it as fun as we can without it being The Room.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, it was just aware enough where it wasn't like a straight up fourth wall thing or anything. But it was definitely... Let's all play the same character, but like everyone's got like one emotion that's slightly different. Except fucking you, Bruce. You're just a pussy. Sorry. You're like, dude, you're scared for everybody.
Oh my god, the last exchange between Megan and Cooper, where it's like, I know that you think all women are bitches, and I'm like, you're about to prove him right though. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is this dialogue?
And then she like her mouth transforms
she said
she's the only one that
shit
can
about like
control
how
like,
she's the real deal. And I'm like,
she's the real deal, and you should, and how you shouldn't be nice to women.
Yeah, like the movie. I'm
2002 was a different time.
Yeah.
I think that the guy that wrote this movie was calling out for help.
Yeah, I think he's a top G now.
I think that he I think he is the top G now. You know what? I get it too. Like if I was getting played by a werewolf lady, I too would hate women.
And I guess they're only immortal or bulletproof.
Werewolves are really diverse,
wolf.
nuanced people with multiple worldviews.
Yeah, it's just women.
Yeah.
Clip that.
But I guess the one bullet works for her because she wasn't like full werewolf yet.
Yeah, it's the logic there was that like if you haven't turned, you can die normally.
Yeah, like that seems like that's a cop out. But yeah, also in the photo of the family that lived there, wasn't it like 5 or 6?
Well, the reasoning that the main character points out when she does the big reveal is that she isn't in the picture because she's the one who took the picture.
Yeah.
Right. No, I get that. But like we only ever saw like 4, but the picture had like 5 or 6 people in it. And then what's his face turned, and then she started to turn, but then died. It's like, wait, that if we're judging by the picture, and that whole family in that picture is werewolves, we'd have a couple more. Because I think the most we ever see on screen at the same time, like there at the end in the kitchen, was 3.
They didn't have 4. The budget for it. Leave them the fuck alone, bro.
You know that's fine, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. Speaking of that scene, though, when like she's walking into the shadows and there's just like the 3 werewolves standing up behind her, that's the dopest album art. That frame is the dopest album art.
Yeah, I just unlocked the door and let him in.
Like that. I don't know. The title of that album is called like Dungeon of My Heart, and it's like definitely the most emo shit.
Ugh.
What is with you today?
Ugh.
I don't know. I have to keep the energy up even when we're like not recording next to each other.
It is different when we are.
It's very difficult. It is very difficult to get the same amount of like energy, so I feel like I have to overcompensate a little bit.
Yeah, Bill got tired a lot faster.
Yeah. There's less people, there's less energy to play off of. But you know what's consistent? Jesse's lack of energy in all of these fucking episodes.
Hey, I've had energy this time around.
Well, it's okay now that you have
we're comparing this to any other fucking
to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned this off camera, but I'll mention it on camera now. The reason I picked it is because this movie is kind of around the shift where like in old school werewolf media, being a werewolf is a curse, like it's bad. And the reason that the werewolf guy characters they kill people is because they lose control of themselves, right? So it's just like it's bad for everyone involved, including the guy who has the curse. But in this one, these are werewolves who are like really intentionally hunting people down and like having a good time with it. And that's kind of the point that like that's where it's not the first movie to do it, but it's like one of the first movies to do it very well.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree that this is it's a very different representation of werewolves as a whole. Because like you either have, you know, the woe is me cursed being that has to like hide away from humanity, and like the entire thing is they're trying to find like the cure for the werewolfism, or you have Taylor Lautner in fucking Twilight. Like that's it. Those are the only 2 representations.
And those guys just become big wolves. They don't do the whole. They don't have hands, if I recall.
Oh, that's lame.
I don't know anything about Twilight, but yeah,
I don't either.
there was an angle there
It's
for me to talk about.
It's not even a werewolf if they don't have hands. That doesn't make any sense. Then they're just a wolf.
No, they're well. I mean, that's how like originally like in folklore, that's how they were. They were wolves that didn't have tails, and one thing they would do is they would hold one of their hind legs out back, so it looked like they did have tails, because that was the tell when you were between seeing a werewolf and a real wolf.
Wasn't the other thing is also like they are much bigger than normal wolves too? Like
yeah,
they are human sized.
Yeah, that's not a huge difference because wolves are fairly big.
Wolves can get quite large. Yes.
Yeah.
But what's it called? I think that because of the Native American angle, the werewolves in Twilight were supposed to be like skinwalkers. I think that's the correct word. Right, because they become entire animals except big. I don't really know.
Yeah. That's not very important.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but the werewolves being like humanoid is fairly new. That's a fairly new thing.
Really?
Yeah, that's like a modern invention.
I would.
How modern? I feel like
I'd have to check, but like I do know that like old school werewolves did used to just be people who could become tailless wolves. Not like 50-50.
Because
that'd be kind of.
I could be wrong, but the idea of that sort of thing has been around for like forever, right? It's not
yeah.
just, like,
I mean, like
Frankenstein, where it,
no, but
it
like
was in
I mean,
a book in the 1900s.
Like, shape-shifting is a thing inside of the Bible too, like in certain stories. So like, it's been around.
Okay,
but like
no, I meant the wolf one specifically because I know with like Frankenstein, like as a kid, I did not know that it was based on a book. I thought that'd been around for like 500 years or something.
No, I think Frankenstein was like
the concept,
1800s.
I think. Right, making a dude right out of stuff. That's the concept that's been around for a while. But Frankenstein, specifically, that's
very specific monster.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you wanted to go over? Because we're quickly approaching an hour.
Oh yeah. No, not really. I mean, usually when I pick a movie, it's just because I think it's fun. I don't really. There's not a lot I have to talk about. Usually, I kind of just wing it, right? Because I feel it's a good movie.
It's a fun movie. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It very much so watched like The Thing, which is like one of my favorite movies of all time. There were two things that made this movie quite unenjoyable. One was just how they shot dialogue scenes, and two was just the writing. The writing was horrendous throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
But the costumes were on point.
Dude, let me put it this way, okay? If I had like $6 million to do a horror movie, the costumes would look the exact same.
Yeah. No, they have to. That like you can have so much fun with that.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like at the same time it sacrifices a sense of the stakes because all of a sudden it's like the monster's kind of goofy though. So like the rest of the like if you're going for like a serious actual horror movie, I feel like that sort of gets taken away with that same thing. Especially when they're just running around like they're just pawing the fucking air. But if you're cool with steering into it, yeah. If that's what you're trying to do with it, you could totally make
it was a good time.
Yeah.
Do we want to do ratings?
Yeah, I think it's about time to do ratings. Yeah. Jesse, why don't you go first?
I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's pretty good.
Oh, hey, where are you going? Oh, do you not want to give a rating? Okay, here, I'll turn. Oh, okay, he's readjusting.
Yeah.
Well, what is your rating? All right, keep your secrets. We'll never know.
I would agree. This is sitting anywhere between like a 4.5 and 5 out of 10 for me. The writing really did just make this
bings and bongs. Yeah. Bings and bongs.
Yeah.
The writing really did just make this movie a little bit unwatchable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this movie that dog out of him.
Yo, actually though, fuck you. Oh my god, go eat. No, dude, I hope werewolves eat your ass. That's fucked up. Fuck you. Before we sign off, I didn't forget, Dove Cameron, this is another invitation for you to come onto our podcast. As you can see, we do have the technology to do this remotely.
You could decide whether or not you're comfortable
you
being in person with him. You can do a trial.
Hey, man. Hey, I promise that we're not going to do a get in the van situation. That is only...
You didn't have to say that.
That is only meant for Nickelodeon stars, not Disney ones. There's a difference.
You didn't have to say that either. I am desperately trying to wrestle a shovel out of your hands.
Listen. Listen. Look. She needs to understand that was past me, and past me only exists, back there. No longer here. Get in the van is no longer here. No longer an idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So next week we are going to be watching. So there were a couple of angles that I could have taken this. I could have made us watch Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That would have been a good one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was also Reservoir Dogs, which would have been the obvious choice that you guys would have thought about. I could have picked Bad Boys 2 for the same reason that Nikhil picked. Well, not specifically this movie, but I could have said because he got that dog in him, right? No, we are stretching the meaning of Animal Month to its to the furthest lengths that can possibly be stretched, and we are going to be watching Con Air. Because when I see a plane filled with fugitives, I think to myself, Air Bud. The movie is also directed by Michael Bay, and when I think of Michael Bay, I think of the Bay of Pigs. So there you go. There's the political aspect of this movie.
All right, now that Eric has snapped the rubber band, do the thing, and goodbye, everyone.